Wow, man, they really played with your emotions. They really played with y'all's emotions on this one. We had such an exciting start to the show at 8 o'clock, and WWE put out a breaking news tweet 10 minutes before SmackDown went on the air that a WWE superstar was viciously attacked backstage, and we will have an update once SmackDown comes on the air at the USA Network. Welp, wouldn't you know? The show opens up with Jay Uso being gurneyed into an ambulance truck. The whole roster is going crazy trying to find out who in the hell did this attack to Jay Uso. I have my theories, I have my suspicions, and I think at the end of the day, it's going to end up being Sami Zayn who attacked Jay Uso. And Sami Zayn is going to go through a really, really deep character change. And I don't know if this is going to be resolved before WrestleMania or after WrestleMania. But I do think at the end of all of this, Sami Zayn is going to be the guy that gets revealed as the attacker for this segment. Um, so we get all this excitement because Jey Uso was never supposed to be in the Elimination Chamber. WWE never had plans for Jey Uso to be inside the Elimination Chamber tomorrow night. So they made a story where Jey Uso was gurneyed out of the arena in Louisville, Kentucky, and they had two people make pitches to Nick Aldis about taking Jey Uso's spot. It was Jacob Fatu and it was Logan Paul. The Jacob Fatu one absolutely makes sense because he got screwed out of his first Elimination Chamber qualifying match. And the second one, Logan Paul, that just does not make any sense to me. That one does not make sense to me. But we ended up doing Jacob Fatu versus Logan Paul in the main event. And you had, and I did too. I was like, man, what an awesome start to the show. That start of the show meant completely nothing at the end of it. They took all of your excitement and they threw it out the window. Man, Logan Paul is the replacement for Jey Uso. Logan Paul over Jacob Fatu. Now, I have nothing against Logan Paul. As you guys know, if you are a longtime subscriber here on the Big Five Field channel, I actually think Logan Paul is very good at what he does. Logan Paul is very good on the microphone, and Logan Paul is a great wrestler. I have no problem with Logan Paul with him as a wrestler. What I do have a problem with is Logan Paul getting this spotlight that he unnecessarily doesn't need, and Jacob Fatu being in this Elimination Chamber match makes the match more unpredictable because it's been a three-way feud since basically Saturday Night Main Event back in January, late January, with Jacob Fatu, Cody Rhodes, and Drew McIntyre. And tonight was your last ditch effort to build any excitement on this event tomorrow night, and you had it and you blew it up in flames. You failed. Jacob Fatu won that match against Logan Paul. It would be unpredictable. You would probably have people go 50-50 on who's going to win between Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu. Now, with my eyes closed, I could tell you that Cody Rhodes is no doubt going to win the Elimination Chamber tomorrow night still. And then next Friday night, Jacob Fatu is going to go irate. He is going to lose his mind on Drew McIntyre. And with him being screwed twice to get to the Elimination Chamber, from default, Jacob Fatu is going to get his match with Drew McIntyre. So it's going to be a triple threat match, and it's going to be made next week on SmackDown. I'm calling it right now. So when this match gets made next week, and they do exactly what I just said, come back to this podcast next week before we do our SmackDown review next Friday night. And don't say I told you so. So, um, they took all that excitement you had at 8 o'clock and they threw it completely out the window. And, here's the upsetting part about tonight. Tonight wasn't even that bad. It wasn't even that bad of a show. It was just boring. It was just boring. And the storylines that they have, like the mid card division, is so lifeless. The tag team division is so irrelevant ever since the MFTs and the Wyatts have been feuding. We're going to have a number one contender match next week on SmackDown. I just pray to God the Wyatts are not in that match. I'm praying there are no Wyatts involvement in that match. Don't worry, Solo still has that fucking lantern. So they're going to continue that feud all the way until WrestleMania because that's what they do. That's what they do. So I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. We are going to talk about the SmackDown from Louisville, Kentucky, the night before the Elimination Chamber. And speaking of the Elimination Chamber, we did Elimination Chamber, a short preview predictions last night on the Big Fight Fuel channel. So if you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and check that out. And we also did AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, and we had Monday Night Raw on Monday night with the AJ Styles announcement on his tribute night that he is going into the Hall of Fame, and followed up by what was an absolute awful show. SmackDown was better WWE wise, but again, this week, I would have, for best show, I would have to give it to AEW. I'm going to have to give it to AEW again. Every week now, I do best show, best match, all that stuff. But my wrestler of the week, again, it was AEW. AEW was the best TV show this week. So, but all those videos that we did this week, go ahead and check them out down below. And I should be good to go tomorrow night for Elimination Chamber. So I will probably be watching Elimination Chamber on my cellular device right here. And then we'll be doing a post-show podcast. It won't be too long tomorrow night. And then next week, there will be no Raw review Monday. There will be no AEW Dynamite review on Wednesday. So once we do Elimination Chamber, I won't see you guys until next Friday's SmackDown. So we will review Elimination Chamber tomorrow night and then SmackDown next Friday night right here on the Big Fight Fuel channel. So, okay. Like I said, the show opened up at 8 o'clock, and the first thing you see Jey Uso getting gurneyed into the ambulance. You have Cody Rhodes that's irate. You have Jacob Fatu absolutely losing his mind. You have Trick Williams coming up to Nick Aldis, saying that better him than me, and Javon Evans gets in his face about that. This transitioned over to Drew McIntyre, who was in the stands, and he started his promo off by saying 4 letters, 1 word, Drew. And this brought out Cody Rhodes, who was very pissed off, wanted to fight Drew McIntyre. This then brung out Randy Orton. He said it doesn't matter if it's Cody, he is running through Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre wants to get involved in Randy Orton's business. Randy Orton will make Drew McIntyre pay for costing him last week. Then out came Javon Evans, Trick Williams, LA Knight. And then we basically got a brawl. We got a brawl between Trick Williams and LA Knight after LA Knight got stopped by Trick with his catchphrase. LA Knight was saying LA Knight and 3 words for you. And Trick Williams said, whoop that Trick. And LA Knight was like, did you just say whoop that Trick? And Trick Williams was like, yeah, I did. So that's when that's when them two started brawling. And then Randy Orton gave Javon Evans a RKO out of nowhere. And we were left with a stare down with Cody and Randy Orton. So we had a very awesome opening to SmackDown. But again, like the first 15 minutes of the show was awesome. But by the end of the night, it meant nothing. Those first 15 minutes of the night meant absolutely jack because of what they did. It doesn't change anything about this chamber match. Jacob Fatu would have changed a lot. Logan Paul changes nothing. So we went from that to our first match of the night, which was Solo Sikoa going up against Uncle Howdy. And these teams have been feuding with each other for, I would say, 4.5 months now. This feud has been going on for way too long. And last week I said when they announced this match, this feud needs to end at this match. When they do Solo versus Uncle Howdy, the feud needs to be over. And I will give them credit. I thought the match was fine. It wasn't terrible like I thought it was going to be. They had a fine match. Howdy was getting in Solo's head. They were fighting on the outside. Solo tried to give a spike to Howdy on the outside, but he accidentally spiked the ring post. So it damaged his thumb for the match. It was slow at times, but, picked up increasingly. Solo went for the hip attack. Howdy caught him with a Sister Abigail, and Uncle Howdy beat him. And the match was fine. It was fine for what it was. My problem's not with the match. My problem's with the aftermath. So, Howdy grabs the lantern, and I'm like, cool, this is over. Nope. Tala Tonga ruined it, gave a big boot to Howdy, held up the lantern, and then the rest of the Wyatts were coming to attack him, but the MFTs bailed, and they made this Wyatt 6 look like complete geeks. They're like checking on them like normal. They're not scary. They've lost their appeal. They have lost what made them so unique when they first made their debut in 2024. They don't feel scary whatsoever. And this is the problem. This is the problem. This storyline is a great example. This is a major problem in the Triple H era of WWE, is that Triple H doesn't know when to end storylines. He'll just keep going on and on and on and on, or it's way too short. And there's no in between. And that's something that sucks about the Triple H era. And this is not the only feud. Damian Priest versus Aleister Black, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. There's a lot of Nia Jax versus Tiffany Stratton's another one. There's a lot of feuds that have gone on for way too long, and they've ran its course. This should have been over months ago. They started feuding in October. Nobody wants to see this match at WrestleMania. Why? So we can have the aftermath of the riots finally getting their fucking lantern back? Who cares? Who genuinely cares about this? It's holding back the tag team division. Instead of the tag team division competing for the tag team titles, you got them doing backstage segments with R-Truth plugging how to subscribe to ESPN Unlimited to watch the Elimination Chamber. It's ridiculous, bro. This feud is holding back the tag team division big time. Tiffany Stratton and what was gonna be Asuka, but Asuka fooled her into making her compete 24 hours before her chamber match, and it ended up being Kyrie instead. Chelsea Green was on commentary. There was a spot where Chelsea was screaming at Tiffany, and they were getting face to face. Chelsea stood up. Tiffany saw Kyrie doing a dive. She moved. She hit Chelsea. And then Tiffany put Kyrie back in the ring. Prettiest moonsault ever. Tiffany beats Kyrie Sane. Whatever. I don't care. It is what it is. It was okay. Logan Paul, Jacob Fatu backstage segments. Like I said, all this said, he'll keep both guys in consideration. And then he made a match, the main event, the winner is replacing Jey Uso. I mean, obviously the results sucked, but I was okay with doing this. What I would have done is if you were going to take out one of your participants in the Elimination Chamber and we're supposed to have a mystery participant, I wouldn't have announced the participant until the match started. Because then that builds up speculation online all day from your fans. Your fans actually have a reason to be excited for the show. Who's going to be in the Elimination Chamber? Now, if it popped up to be Brock Lesnar, that would have been a massive, massive, massive letdown. So at least we're not getting that. Okay? I still have hope that Brock Lesnar is going to be feuding with Obafemi going into WrestleMania. And for Obafemi's sake, I hope so. So tonight, Obafemi wrestled The Miz. And The Miz basically did the same thing that Kit Wilson did last week. Tried to chicken himself out of wrestling Obafemi, pitching a partnership between the two, the Awesome Rulers, and he told Miz, "You're gonna die tonight." Gave him a chop, gave him a big boot, tried to go for the throw, but the Miz bounced his head off the rope, went for the skull crushing finale. Oba caught him, threw him in the air, fall of grace. Can we get Obafemi with fucking Brock Lesnar, please? He's been on the main roster for about a month now. Okay? He started at the Royal Rumble. He beat up the Viking Raiders for no fucking reason. Made them look like a bunch of chumps. He has had matches with Kit Wilson and The Miz on the road to WrestleMania. And he's had altercations with Rusev too, so he's going to be wrestling old Rusev, but this is just a waste of time. I'm genuinely going to be pissed off if Obafemi does not confront Brock Lesnar. Because what are we doing? What are we doing? That storyline does not fit for LA Knight going out there and accepting Brock Lesnar's open challenge. This is a waste of time. Wasn't worse than last week with Obafemi. I thought last week was just the drizzling shits, but he beat Miz's ass, and that's it. Um, Carmelo Hayes United States Championship Open Challenge. I thought they were fooling us and they were going to do like some segment. Nope. We actually got a match out of this. It was Matt Cardona, which Matt Cardona's fine and all that, but how can I get excited about this match when, since Matt Cardona came back on January 2nd, they've treated him like a jobber? So, how am I supposed to be excited about Matt Cardona getting a shot at the United States Championship and Carmelo Hayes, where they've basically treated him like they treated Zack Ryder a bunch of years ago? 10, 12 years ago. I'm not excited. The match was solid. It was fine. It was honestly probably the best match on the show. But it's like, who cares? The way this guy's booked, and the live crowd didn't care either. And I'll address another issue too. The fucking theme music is so bad. Listening to theme music of Matt Cardona and Jordan Grace and Candice LeRae and Lash Legend. I'm like, who the fuck are these people? You can't tell. These little catchphrases. Always ready. I won't stop until I win. Like, who the fuck is coming up with this? It's absolutely ridiculous. Every wrestler now, before their song starts, they have to have a catchphrase right in the beginning of it. I love Javon Evans' theme. It's very catchy, but in the beginning of it, your boy is bouncy. Why? I hate it. Carmelo won with a code breaker, and they shook hands after the match. So, it was solid. It was probably the best match of the night, but again, who cares? Candice LeRae versus Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace won in 3 minutes. They didn't even pay attention about the fucking match. 3 hours on this show, you give them 5 minutes? Really? They focused more on Johnny Gargano sleeping on the announce desk. Why? Why is he depressed? Because he lost Axiom's mask? Who's coming up with this? Road Dogg? Do you think this is compelling television? Road Dogg? The fuck? It's a fucking circus. What do we have? We got 2 more stuff. 2 more things. And that'll be it. Nia Jax and Lash Legend challenging Rhea Ripley and Io Sky for the women's tag team titles. Pretty good match. It was fine. The ending came where Lash legally tagged herself in. Rhea hit Riptide on Nia Jax, not knowing that Lash tagged herself in. And I don't know her finishing move, but she hit her finisher on Rhea Ripley. It looked really good, and they won the titles. So Lash Legend and Lash Legend and Nia Jax are your new women's tag team champions. And not only did I call it last night on the Big Fight Fuel channel, it's absolutely the right move. This will open up the possibilities of what Rhea Ripley and Io Sky will do at WrestleMania. They don't have to be. Um, they don't have to settle for a tag team title match. Rhea Ripley is 100% winning the Elimination Chamber. And if you don't think so, you're a complete fool. They did this for a reason. She took a pin tonight for a reason. Because she's winning this Elimination Chamber match tomorrow. And she's wrestling Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. And she should beat Jade Cargill for the Women's Championship. So we'll see what happens, but Nia and Lash winning the tag team titles, absolutely the right move. And then the main event, Logan Paul and Jacob Fatu. You know, I hate everything about how WWE manufactures and they manage the main event on weekly television. Not particularly Raw, particularly Friday Night Smackdown. This has gone on for like a couple weeks in a row now. Besides the one where we had Cody, Jacob, and Sammy, they actually had time to put on a good match. Every fucking week. Every week. It's the same way. 10:45. One guy makes their entrance. They come back at 10:48. They do a backstage promo or some shit. And then the other guy will make his entrance. And then by the time Jacob Fatu has done his entrance, it is 10:50. And they have 10 minutes on the main event of SmackDown. They get 10 minutes. And then they wrestle for 2 minutes. And they go on commercial break. And by the time we come back from commercial, there's fucking 5 minutes of there's 5 minutes of wrestling. Like it's every week. And they've done that for years with SmackDown. And I hate it. How can you be interested in that? So the finish came where a faked masked man came out, stomped Austin Theory. Logan Paul punched his face. Logan Paul took the mask off and ended up being some dweeb with blue hair. Security got him out immediately. Jacob Fatu gave him a super kick. Went up to the top rope for the moonsault. Drew McIntyre met him up there. Smacked him over the head with the WWE Championship. And Logan Paul rolled him up. And Logan Paul's going to the Elimination Chamber. Jacob Fatu has a valid argument to wrestle for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. He got screwed not once, but twice in Elimination Chamber qualifying matches against Drew McIntyre. And he should be challenging for that title. But what would have made the Chamber match more interesting was Jacob Fatu being in there. And then you can get creative with him and Cody. And with replacing Jey Uso with Logan Paul, you accomplish nothing. Because Logan Paul has no shot of winning the Elimination Chamber match tomorrow night. So, your new men's Elimination Chamber match is Randy Orton, LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, Javon Evans, Trick Williams, and Logan Paul. Those are your Elimination Chamber participants. And we'll be back here tomorrow night on the Big Fight Field channel for Elimination Chamber. It wasn't particularly a bad show tonight from Louisville, but it was just so fucking boring. And I hated the result in the main event. They wasted All your excitement in the beginning of the show, they wasted it at the end of the night by having Logan Paul beat Jacob Fatu of all people. So, um, I didn't think the show was bad. I'm still giving it a thumbs down though. So both Raw and SmackDown get thumbs down this week's. What's new? I'll see you guys tomorrow night for Elimination Chamber. Subscribe, comment, hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Conlon_Joseph, all that stuff. I will see you guys tomorrow night right here on the Big Fight Fuel channel for the Elimination Chamber um, recap review. Peace.